Hi, everyone. If you've landed here, you've landed on Let's Talk News. I'm your host, Leticia Remauro, and I am so happy to have you join me this evening because there's so much to talk about, and I just hate talking to myself. So I hope you'll all hop onto the comments in the chat and let's talk about California. I meant to tell you this last night. And I don't know how we wound up going over, and I decided to cut the show. And then I was kicking myself in the ass that I didn't tell you about Eileen Wang. Who's Eileen Wang, you ask? Well, she's the mayor of Arcadia, California. And interestingly enough, yesterday at about 7:35, the news came out, actually 8:35, the news came out that she pleaded guilty to being an operative of the CCP. How do you like them apples? We have been saying it on Let's Talk News for years, since we've been the right stuff, that the Democrats in California have been in bed with China. And people thought I was crazy. And now we have proof. So I am going to let you hear for yourself.
We begin with breaking news. The mayor of Arcadia has agreed to plead guilty to being a foreign agent spreading Chinese propaganda.
And for more on the charge against Eileen Wang, we're joined now by Kevin Ozebek.
Well, David and Giovanna, federal investigators say instead of acting in the best interest of the people who elected her, Arcadia Mayor Eileen Wang acted in the interest of the Chinese Communist Party. Mayor Wang, seen here in campaign videos she posted online, has accepted a plea deal that could see her spend up to 10 years behind bars. Federal prosecutors say the mayor and a then fiancé were posting Chinese Communist Party propaganda on a website called U.S. News Center. According to court documents unsealed today, Mayor Wang received and executed directives from PRC government officials to post pro-PRC content on this website and sometimes sought approval from PRC government officials to circulate other pro-PRC content.
The website that we're talking about looked like a standard news website that got a lot of traffic in the community. If you signed on, it looked kind of like the CNN website, does, with lots of different just regular news updates. And then, peppered in with the regular news were these items of propaganda.
And we just checked, Arcadia City website has now been updated, and it says Wang has resigned from Arcadia City Council effective today. A new mayor will be selected at the next regular council meeting. Now, you may remember earlier this year, Mayor Wang's former fiance and campaign manager was sentenced to 2 years in federal prison. Yao Ning Mike's son pled guilty to one count of acting as a foreign agent to a foreign government.
And there you have it. And you know what? Santillan has been saying that California and Hawaii are very much in bed with the CCP. And he's here tonight. Hello, Robert Santillan. How are you? Aloha. And yes, apparently Wang is a communist. Hi, Francine. Good to have you. Hi, Kevin from the other side of the earth, but the same side of the issues. Hello, Sister Colleen. Good to have you. Our OG, Lucille Chavone, is with us tonight. And from Michigan, Karen Judgeson. Good to have you. Thank you so much for joining us. And my right hand, Angela Ricca. How's everything going in New York? So Santillan says he knew about her for years. And I don't doubt it. But the question is, what do you think the people of California are going to do with this information? I love this new computer. It just changes colors at will. It's very interesting. So I'm not playing I'm not playing disco. It's the way I move my hands in front of it. It changes colors. Very interesting. So what do you think that the people of California are going to do with this? The people of Arcadia. That's number one. So I mean, give me your best thoughts. And number two is, why does China want to influence the Chinese here in America? If they're here, they left them, right? They left the Chinese government. They left the country of China. So why would the CCP want propaganda put out to Chinese Americans? It makes you wonder. It really does make you wonder. And we're kind of screwed, right? Because what are you going to do? You can't stop immigration. We should, but this is what our whole country is about, right? Is immigration, who we bring in, that we're one big melting pot. But has it gone too far? Colleen says, I was surprised that China passed a law to protect workers from AI. Companies can't replace people with AI. Well, the thing is that if I don't think they did it for the benefit of the worker, Carl. I think that they did it because they are very fearful of AI, because like we say here all the time, you could do the mind control thing while you're in charge, but what happens when you're not in charge? That's number one. And number two, why China is so, in any authoritarian state or communist country or regime, is fearful of AI is because then people from elsewhere could get information to your people that you're fighting so hard to control. And that would be problematic, I would think. Hi, Susan DeRemba. Hey, Marge Filan, my sis. How are you, darling? Santillion says that Wang was in Hawaii in 2018 and ran for office in my district. We shut her down in 2020. Oh, interesting. So she went over to California and ran for office there. Well, that's interesting. So the whole goal was to get her to infiltrate the government in one way, shape, or form. And I guess it didn't matter where. Haha, the plot thickens. Colleen says, I hope the people wake up. Well, I do too, but I am really, really concerned about it. Marge Filan, how many more California Democrats have been infiltrated by China? Oh, definitely Newsom, definitely Pelosi. That's where her bank account is growing. I think she's an operative. I would say Kamala's an operative, but I don't think that she's got the smarts to be an operative. I do think, however, that they were the ones that filtered so much money into her campaign. That's my thought. Hello, Professor. Projection of power overseas. Yeah, but why? Why? Is it to infiltrate our government? Why would China want people who left their country and came to America to, quote unquote, escape their country to be propagandized, unless they didn't try to escape their country, unless they didn't come here with good intentions? And that's what I'm starting to feel like. Colleen says, not just Dems. How about Mitch McConnell? Oh, yeah. Well, Mitch McConnell, that's true. Yeah, that's true. He's, but I don't know if he's a CCP operative. I think Mitch McConnell is one of the, he's part of the swamp. He's part of that group of people that says, well, this is how it always was, and so this is how it has to be, and all the power is ours. He's part of the Bush McCain kind of dynasty, if you will, and I think that the Clintons are part of that too. I think Obama is the new era, Chinese operative kind of global. He's the poster boy for that. But I think the Clintons are more with the Bushes That's just me. Yeah, I could be totally wrong, but that's what I think. Colleen says, isn't his wife with Bank of China? His wife. Mitch McConnell. You know what? Could be. You might be right. I just can't imagine. Well, okay, then maybe you think they're doing a Biden with him? Well, that's a good point. Maybe they are doing a Biden with him. Michael Cox says to open takeouts. That's why they're propagandizing. Colleen says McConnell's wife is high up in the Bank of China. I didn't even know his wife worked. So this is news to me. So you know more than me. So maybe that's so. Kevin Wall says at the end of the day, China wants to be America. I think that they want to own America. They don't want our pesky human rights and our Constitution. That would be too much for them. For instance, as they didn't escape, they were put here to infiltrate. That's what I'm feeling like, Francine. Professor, all about control. Bolshevik means majority, but they were minority. Yeah, it is control. It's always control, isn't it? Hi, Maisie. Good to have you. JVVV 780. Democrats are the pedophile party of America. They're certainly weird, right? The new ones, not the blue dog ones, but the new woke left loonies are certainly weird, and they have no moral center. And quite frankly, I can't even, I don't understand how young people are even following them. But the California ones, the California Democrats, holy moly. I mean, they are legitimate pedophiles, and they want it to be recognized as, perfectly okay. What is it, Mambla? That's crazy stuff. Thanks for joining us, JVV. Santillian says Obama's the poster boy for communist takeover and human trafficking. Yes, indeed. And he's behind all this bullshit that's going on right now. And we talked about that last night. Colleen, don't they already own us and many other countries with huge debt to them? Well, we do have a large debt to them, and that's why Trump is president, and we're trying to get our feet underneath us. Hi, Gloria. Good to have you. Ward Guard 9, the governor of my state, Kathy Hochul, and Cuomo were in bed with a Chinese spy and loving it. War Guard, I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people on this show are from New York. And I was too. Born there, wasn't raised all the way there, but lived there for a long time. I just left 4 years ago. And I know Hochul 100% is. And I'm not surprised to hear about Cuomo. When I knew him, he was a stand-up guy, but that was before everything in the world turned over. The influence that China has now in the Democratic Party is enormous. And I love that they, point the finger at Trump for being in bed with Putin, which is just so laughable. Robert Santellian says outside Las Vegas, DHS busted a human trafficking ring casino 4 days ago. Oh, I didn't hear that. Oh, interesting. Well, we know that it's happening. I mean, the whole thing about with Trump is that he's been finding the children that were lost under Biden, not all, but quite a large amount of children that had gone missing. And this is his second rodeo, Trump, finding missing kids. When his first term, I think he found 70,000 missing children and brought them home through the FBI. So that's interesting. Isn't it also interesting that the fentanyl coming into the country is down to like zero? When was the last time that you heard about a drug bust? Like a big one. I can't remember. And also, under Biden, we were hearing every single day about overdoses, and I'm not hearing that anymore. I'm not saying that it's not happening. There are states and cities that these zombie people are walking around, but it's not as prevalent as it was before. So Trump's doing a good job there. All right. So let's talk a little bit about Virginia. So they're not having a great time of it, Virginia. Democrats, Virginia Democrats, that is. So after the razor thin margin of victory for the 10-1 redistricting, which was suspect, and there was $70 million spent by Democrats to get that vote to go their way, and it just barely did. Virginia Supreme Court said, "Hey guys, it's unconstitutional. You did not follow the rules of the Constitution for redistricting. And if you want to follow the rules, you could try it again. But this one we can't uphold. It's unconstitutional." And then the Democrats, Hakeem Jeffries, came up with this harebrained idea to get rid of the Virginia Supreme Court because they didn't like the decision on redistricting. So that was there. So that now, make no mistake, it's Hakeem that's talking to the Democrat members of the legislature about this. Isn't it Hakeem Jeffries, the one that's pounding the podium constantly, talking about how Donald Trump is undermining, quote unquote, democracy, that he's a threat to our Constitution? Isn't he the one that keeps on telling us that Donald Trump doesn't follow the rule of law, that he uses the courts in warfare or lawfare? You don't have to answer because I know we all know that that's so. But anyway, listen to what's going on.
The New York Times and the Down Ballot report, Democratic members of Congress and some Virginia Democrats have discussed possible next steps. One idea reportedly includes a plan to throw out the original referendum so state lawmakers can redraw a new one. It would include lowering the mandatory retirement age for Virginia Supreme Court justices to 54. Lawmakers say currently all 7 justices are over that age.
It is a terrible attack on the checks and balances that some would suggest getting rid of all 7 Supreme Court justices immediately because they were upset with the decision.
Local Democratic lawmakers say they do not support that idea either.
I don't think Virginia Democrats have ever even considered the notion of changing the rules. It's not the way you respond to a case that you disagree with.
I would not be in favor of it, and I have not heard anyone talking about it.
In the meantime, Republicans are celebrating the state Supreme Court's decision to strike down the referendum.
The Democrats in Richmond did not follow the Constitution, and they could not go forward with their gerrymandered maps during this election.
Democrats are disappointed.
The reality is that the whole nation right now is feeling the brunt of the president saying to these Republican states, erase these Democratic seats. Democratic states are responding.
Lawmakers also responded to questions about why the ruling came after the election, after money had already been spent on the campaign.
It's an insane amount of money, and it does feel like we have so many problems we need to fix. It would have been better off if some of this money could have been spent on something constructive.
They say the issue could only be decided after the vote because it had not yet taken effect before the election. Now, the legal fight is not quite over. Supporters of the referendum have appealed the Virginia Supreme Court's decision to the U.S. Supreme Court. Everyone I spoke with today says they don't believe anything will come from that.
So, yeah, so Santillian says, going back to the pedophile and trafficking, we have a big ring of human trafficking here in Hawaii. Call girls, buy me drink, girls, etc. in the bars. I'm not surprised. And it goes on in New York, and it goes on in Florida. It goes on everywhere. It's kind of crazy. Virginia was busted racist. Yeah, it really is. Colleen says he's not even from Virginia, meaning Hakeem Jeffries, right? But he is a House Speaker, and so he gave. Remember, he gave $1 million of his own campaign war chest. I think it was $1 million, might have been 20. I can't remember. I know that's a big difference, but I just can't remember the numbers. He gave a bunch of cash to the redistricting campaign for the vote because he wants to become the Speaker of the House. Yeah. So that's why he's spending so much time and effort in Virginia. And he came up with this harebrained scheme. And you heard the Democrats in Virginia legislature going, no, that's not how we operate. But that's how Hakeem operates. And Hakeem is Nancy Pelosi's handpicked subject. Let's put it that way. Colleen says, yes, he does tell us that incessantly, meaning that Trump, wants to undermine the Constitution. But meanwhile, here we go. This is what they're doing. Colleen says, so they have indoctrinated lunatics instead of independent judges. Right. So, and that's lawfare. That's lawfare. And that is what Biden did to Trump, and that is what they're doing. They're showing their hands. So between a CCP spy or operative in California, and now this cockamamie scheme by Jeffries to get rid of the entire Supreme Court in Virginia, do we think that people are going to be opening their eyes? I'm hoping so, and I actually feel kind of good about it because I didn't clip it, but the recent CNN poll is showing that the Democrats are not gaining any steam in their approval rating. And despite Trump's approval rating being down, the Republicans are gaining steam. They're being increasingly, people are approving of the Republicans and what they're doing rather than the Democrats. So Colleen's laughing, saying that she's glad that Hakeem Jeffries wasted his money. Yeah, and now they're wasting more money appealing to the Supreme Court. And wait until I show you what's going on. Hold on. They are trying to keep their electorate district lines here in Hawaii. 79K of mail ballots cannot be accounted for. I sent you the video. Oh, Lord almighty. So 80,000 ballots are gone. All right. Oh, God. The Republicans better get their act together and start following, start ballot chasing, and let's finding out where these ballots are going. How do they call Virginia ruling racist? Because they're saying that and that's Maisie asking that, they're saying that the Voting Rights Act is being gutted by the United States Supreme Court, and that what they were doing with redistricting was to give more people of color a voice. But you know what I want to see happen? When these districts are redrawn because they can't be drawn according to race, I would be very happy to see more Black, Hispanic, Asian Republicans running for office and getting elected. And I know we're going to see it. You know how I know we're going to see it? Because we had a race for president here not too long ago in America, and there weren't any gerrymandered districts, and an African-American man won the presidency, not once, but twice. So this whole bullshit about this is a Black district, this is a white district. No. That's just bullshit. I think we're going to see people voting with their morals and their ethics. And that's how it should be. Nobody should ever vote on the color of skin or sexual preference or gender. It should be ideas and whether those ideas match yours. So we'll see what happens. Let's see. Nice that he has the cash like that to throw around. Well, he's a New York Democrat. They have plenty of money. From the billionaires that they all hate. Colleen says, I didn't have any sense until I was 54. Yeah, that's true. Most of us. Santillion says, when folks go to their elections office and change their voting status, then we have a proper voting status. Oh, okay. Got it. All right. So anyway, So you heard that they filed an injunction with the United States Supreme Court, Virginia. I want you to see that they spelled Virginia wrong when they did that. So this joint motion to delay by Ryan T. McDougall, they could not spell their own state's name. That is really concerning. And you would say to yourself, oh, well, they were in a rush, but it happened again. Here, they didn't make a misspelling, but they did apply to the wrong court. Instead of the Supreme Court of the United States, it's an emergency application to the Supreme Court of Virginia. So I'm starting to really wonder about the education system in Virginia. And if that wasn't bad enough, look at the current Attorney General. Actually, look. This is his post. Jay Jones, the new Attorney General. Remember, he's the one that wanted to kill everybody and their children. He says he took decisive action against Donald Trump's in-state tuition law. So he's trying to further education. And yet on his own website or on his own posts and on his own website, attorney is misspelled. You cannot make this stuff up. Oh, and by the way, Jason Mayares, where I got these from, who posted these on X, he was a former attorney general in Virginia, and he's now running, I think he's running for Congress. So mosey on over to Jason Mayares, Miyares website, and give him a donation. I did, because he's funny as all hell. Let's see. Warguard says they did not spell senator right either. Oh, wait. Oh, let's see. I didn't even look at that. Let's see. Don Scott is a speaker of the Virginia House or Virginia House of Delegates, etc. State. Oh my God! Look at that. Senator. Oh, good catch. Great catch, Senator. Oh, my Lord almighty. Oh, that was great catch. All right. I love when we have the smartest viewers ever. That was a really, really good catch. I didn't catch that. Thanks, Warguard. Santillion says here in Hawaii, if you get a state ID, you're listed as a Democrat automatically. My wife was one of them. That's crazy. That happened to me in New York 2 years ago, that they listed me as a Democrat. I had it changed to a Republican. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. When the controlling party, whoever that is, when you put the Democrats in control of stuff, that's what they do. We don't do it. Republicans don't do it, but the Democrats do. All right. Well, under the heading of fuck around and find out, I don't know if everybody saw it, but for those of you who don't live in America, just listen to this little clip by WION about what the UAE was doing when nobody was looking.
During the Israeli-US war on Iran, UAE emerged as one of Tehran's top targets in the Gulf. Iran rained missiles and drones on Abu Dhabi, Dubai, and American bases in the country. But now a new report says that the UAE hit back by secretly carrying out attacks on Iran. According to a report in the Wall Street Journal, UAE retaliated by carrying out strikes on Iran, including an attack on refinery on Iran's Lawan Island. The attack had sparked a large fire and dealt a severe blow to the refinery's capacity. The report says the attack took place in early April, around the time when US President Trump was declaring a ceasefire. The report says that Washington had quietly welcomed UAE's participation in the war. At that time, Iran had called the strikes an enemy attack and launched drones and missiles against UAE and Kuwait in response. UAE was Iran's top target during the war, with Tehran striking it with over 2,800 missiles and drones, higher than any other country, including Israel. UAE's military is well equipped with Western-made fighter jets and surveillance networks. Its fleet includes French Mirage fighter jets, advanced F-16 jets, refueling planes, command and control aircraft, and surveillance drones. However, neither US nor the UAE has publicly acknowledged the report so far.
I just love that Donald Trump makes friends with all of the richest countries. I mean, yeah, that's UAE, United Arab Emirates, is, nothing to sneeze at. Yeah. When it comes to world economics, our president, I've got something in my mouth. Our president is something else. All right, we're over by just by a minute, so I'm going to quickly say goodbye. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, go to Spotify and look for us there, and please give us a follow, and I will see you tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I love you all, and I love talking with you. And thanks, everyone. Colleen, thanks for that tidbit. And War God, thank you very much. I'll talk to you all tomorrow at 8 o'clock.